Welcome back. We're so happy that you're here in our video classroom today. We are going to be reading our final chapter in our book, Sounds, Lights, and the Theater. So we're very excited to learn more and bring our reading to a close. Before we do that, we're going to do several things, which we usually do to help us get prepared for our reading. We're going to be looking at our augmentative communication page. We're going to kind of revisit one of our images from Chapter 5, and we're going to do a little experiment with that to see if we can make an item look bent or broken in water. We are going to do our picture and text walk, look at our KWL chart, then we are going to read our questions before we read our story, and then finally end by taking our assessment. All right, so let's go ahead, get our augmentative communication all set up. Make sure that you have your device, or if you just need to use what's on the screen, you're welcome to do that. And this is just a great way for us to go over our vocabulary for our lesson. All right, are we all ready? Okay. Let's see, we are going to be looking at several vocabulary words that are super important. We're going to be looking at copy, more. Now we'll use all these, but the real important ones are what we're highlighting right now. Bend, record, another, and then video camera, play, copier, wave, light wave, page, and cell phone. Light wave, page, cell phone. Radio wave, and tower. This is, and lens. So those are real important vocabulary words that we're going to go through today. And if you don't have your device, go ahead and take a minute. We can pause and just wait and come back. All right, do I have everybody back with us? Very good. All right, so do you remember this picture? Before we get too far in to our lesson, I thought it might be fun to try a little experiment to see if we can make an item look bent or broken in a glass of water. So here in our diagram, we see that we have to kind of look down into the glass, right at the water line, and then here's the real straw, correct? And then the green straw is what is showing how it looks as though it is broken. So the light is coming down, reflecting off of the water in the glass, and going back up. So this is showing us the broken straw, and here is the real straw. All right, you ready? All right, I'm going to move this up here just so we can take a look. All right, so I just have a simple glass that I've put water in. And I used a short glass so I could get into the lens. And then I just got a pencil, just got a colored pencil, something super simple. And what we want to do is if we set it up high, then we're able to kind of get the lens of the camera to be looking right at the water, right? But then if we're looking down at it, we have to lower it so that we get that view like is in the diagram of our picture, right? All right, so let's put our pencil in, okay? And if we raise it up, it looks like the pencil is all together, right? There's a little bit of it ricocheting to the top. But as we lower that, do you see how it looks broken? It looks like right above the gold letters, it's broken. Now, if we stand it up straight, look how it's normal, right? The light's reflecting it. It looks a little bit bent, but not much. But as soon as we bend it over, away from the camera, then we're able to see how it looks bent and how that light is going through and bending around the water, and it's then changing what you see. Now, I thought it might be interesting to see if it works through plastic too. Now let's see. So I just have a bottle of water here. I'm going to pour a little bit of it out into a glass. And let's see if we hold it like this, but we're looking through plastic. Let's see if it changes any. Do you think it might? I don't know. Let's see. All right. So if we put it in, doesn't bend quite as much through the plastic. So it's not reflecting like the white did. Now there it's a little bit bent. There you can see that it's kind of offset. The bottom is off to the side and the top is off to the different direction. But if we raise it up right to the lens, then it looks like it's together. So it definitely worked better. It definitely worked better in the glass right there, where you're able to bend the light around it a little better. All right, so that'd be something that you can do at home with your family. Thought that it might be fun to just do a little experiment based on Chapter 5 and what we learned there. So let's go ahead and we'll get out of that. All right, our augmentative device. So I think we're gonna be good. It's pretty much the same, but we'll go over it one more time. You're going to need wave, light waves, page, and cell phone.
Light wave, page, cell phone.
We will need radio wave, tower, and information.
Radio, tower, information.
Lens, light. And I know we went over this already, but we're just going to make sure you're good to go. Light off, and then record, and bend, which we just talked about. All right, excellent. So let's look at our KWL and let's see if it comes up. It does. And what have we already learned? What do we know that we've already gone through as we're wrapping up this chapter book about waves? We see colors that bounce off objects. We do not see colors that soak into objects, and that was on page 39. And when all of the colors soak into an object, what do we see? See the black. The black, it all absorbs into black. Then we don't see that. When all the colors bounce off an object, we see color. When waves can bend, or light waves can bend, which we just saw with our little experiment, this makes the straw look bent, and for us, it made our pencil look bent. Light can go through some objects like a lampshade, but it cannot go through a person. So those are things we know already. All right, now we're going to save what do we want to know until after we've gone through our walk. All right, so now we're going to be with waves in the theater. Here we have a picture of paper, cell phone, and a camera. So it'll be interesting to see what these three things have in common. We have a copier, looks like we have waves happening here. Cell phone with waves. Now here's two cell phones and a picture of a tower. Ever been driving down the road and you see these really high towers, like especially on the highway, or sometimes they're actually in people's backyards? Those are cell phone towers that many cell phones use, and we'll see why. We have a camera, then a camera with light waves, and then it looks like we're getting ready for our play, but we can see if that inference is correct. So let's see, what do we want to know? We want to know, what will we learn about the copy machine and light? What kind of wave does a cell phone use? Why is there a picture of two cell phones and a tower? Do video cameras use light waves or sound waves? All right, let's see. Before we go into our story, we know that we are going to actually pop that back to the beginning so we're ready when we come back to it. But we're going to do what? Okay, we did our walk. Come on, y'all should be able to tell me this right off the top of my head, right off the top of your head. Ask a family member, why do we do our text and picture walk and then look at our questions? Yes, it's so that our mind can focus and we can be able to highlight information as we're reading, or we can even take little notes as we're reading. So let's see what these questions are. What is this chapter about? What uses light waves to copy? Every once in a while, there is an answer to a question in the question. This might be one of those times. What is a message sent from with radio waves? What is a message sent from with radio waves? What bent light waves through the lens? What bend light waves through the lens? And then again, what we always ask is, what is important to know about this chapter? All righty. Here we go. Chapter 6, Waves in the Theater. Students must do a few more things. They pick up the papers in the copy room, they turn on the video camera, and Juan sends a message about the play. The students are all done. Do copiers use waves? The copiers use what kind of wave? Light waves. The light waves copy what is on the page. Do cell phones use waves? Cell phones use radio waves. A message is sent from a cell phone with a radio wave. Now that's a special kind of wave. We haven't necessarily heard radio wave, but that is right there with the sound wave. The radio waves start at the cell phone. Then they go through the air to a tower. Finally, they go from the tower to another cell phone. So when we're making a phone call to our parents or a family member or a friend, we're sending the information from our phone to those towers that you see on the road or in the backyards, and it goes to the person's cell phone that you're talking to. So think about that. It travels all the way to a cell phone, which could be a mile or so away, maybe even more. And it goes from that cell phone to maybe even across a couple of cell phones before it reaches the person you've contacted. So if I'm contacting, I don't know, my brother that lives all the way out in Nebraska, that is more than one cell phone. That is many cell phones. But it happens very quickly, doesn't it? That is how quickly waves travel and send our messages. Pretty cool. Waves help us get a lot of information. Does the video camera use waves? Yes, they do use waves. Video cameras bend light waves through the lens. Then they store the image. This will help us record the play. The cast has learned a lot about waves. Waves help us see and hear. Now the lights go off. The audience is quiet and the play begins. Very good. So now let's take a look at our KWL chart and let's see what we did learn. Copiers use light waves. That was on page 48. Cell phones use radio waves. The waves go from the cell phone to a tower, from the tower, make our correction, from the tower to another cell phone so that people can use their phones. And that's on page 50, we learned that. And the video cameras use light waves. They bend the light waves. So we learned quite a bit. We know that we have light waves happening, radio waves happening, and light waves happening. So if we go back to our very early picture, our page that had the picture of the 3 items, and we were wondering, what might they have in common? Well, we know that in order to make a copy of a page, which you all see teachers do that all the time at school, right? And when they're doing that, what kind of wave are they using? What kind of wave is the copier using? Yes, the copier is using a light wave. And then how many of you use your cell phone in school? Be honest, how many use your cell phone? Right. Most all of us use our cell phone at some time during the school day, right? So there we've learned that it's using a radio wave. Where is the radio wave going to? Where does the radio wave go? Yes, it goes to the tower. Very good. And then back to whichever cell phone you're sending it to. And then what does the camera lens do with the light to store its information? What does it do? It bends the light. Excellent. Very good. So we learned a great deal about light waves, radio waves, how the light waves bend. And all of this helps us through our daily life, but it's definitely helping the students as they're preparing for their play. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at our test. What is this chapter about? Is it about waves, books, or movies? Well, remember, we can always go back to the title of our story, and the title of our story is Waves in a Theater, right? So if we go back here, that the title is telling us what it's going to be about. So shall we try? Very good. What uses light waves to copy? Now remember earlier I said that sometimes there's a word in a question that will actually give you the answer to the question. So what uses light waves to copy? Is it a car, a copier, or an oven? Well, now look, we know that, can we just infer here? We know that, use deduction, that does an oven copy? I mean, if we did, all of us moms would love it, right? We would love that if we could just put, a roast in the oven and it would copy and give us 2 roasts, we'd be very happy, but that doesn't happen. Does a car copy? No, car doesn't copy. You don't put 2 people in and come out with 4 people, right? So, copier. What is a message sent from with a radio wave? What is a message sent from with a radio wave? Is that a cell phone, a pencil, or an X-ray? What is the very first item you can definitely get rid of that's not anywhere in any of our answers? Yes, it's pencil. Pencil doesn't make any sense at all. Cell phone or X-ray? Now, did we talk about X-ray? Well, let's go back in our story and let's look at what uses a radio wave. So the copier we know used what? Light waves. We see a cell phone. The cell phone uses radio waves. All right, so we can go back over to our assessment and we know that it's the cell phone that uses the radio wave. Very good. What bend light waves through the lens? What bends light waves through the lens? Does a desk bend the light waves? Does a microwave? Now, microwave, the word wave is there. Does that make sense? Is it a video camera? So let's always go back, even though we're pretty sure we know. Let's see which item it was that bends the light as it's used. Here we go. Here's the video camera, bends the light waves through the lens, and then they store the image. Very good.
Video cameras.
All right. And then what is important to know about this chapter? The waves don't help us get information. Is that what the chapter is about? Because it was really kind of opposite of that, right? Waves were actually helping us use our cell phones, use our copiers, and our video cameras, and even our cameras on our phones, right? Those are using the waves that the phone is using. Is it that B, plays happen in an auditorium? Because that's what's important to know. I mean, there was a picture of an auditorium right at the end, but was that what the whole story was about? No. Waves help us see and hear. Let's look at our very last page because that sounds familiar. Waves help us see and hear. Very good. Excellent. Well, again, it was really great to spend time with you during this chapter. We're going to be doing some different things next week and different types of stories. So I hope you come back and we're able to spend some time together. Always remember that you can pull this information back up, just look at it, and there's different games and things you can play in the material that was attached to this lesson. As you're in your homes, remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and be happy to just be with family. Get out and do some walking in this beautiful weather. Have a great day.